Okay, so the spirits want to talk about addiction and what's going on with addiction in terms of energy, because of course we're energy first, as discussed in the other videos, energy before human form. Addiction is a response to inner pain, inner wounds, inner pain, rejection, disapproval, abuse. It's a response to inner pain. And in a certain area, let's say we have a massive rejection from a parent, perhaps having left us, deserted us. We have a rejection. Instead of having a rejection of naught, like a zero, we will then, let's say for an example, have a rejection of minus 500%, you can call it. So that's our position. That will attract the same rejection, law of attraction, on the outside world, the minus 500%. So this gives us pain. Lots of situations will trigger this pain. You know, perhaps we'll be out, you know, rejected by someone again or something, and it will trigger this parental rejection that happened from our childhood, trigger us to go down the 500%. How does our brain help us to avoid feeling that pain? It thinks it's helping us. It helps us cope by avoidance mostly. Of course, the best way, of course, is to heal the wound, to go deep and heal the wound and find ourselves and talk to ourselves there as that child. But the brain doesn't do that. The brain helps us cope and survive, you know, which is, you know, certainly helpful. That may be what we need. Actually, we need to heal the wound, but, you know, we may not be in a position to do that. Well, we should make that. We should make it an absolute priority. But anyway, so we're on the 500% of rejection. The brain helps us by, we then have the desire. We'll want to grab onto something that gives us a massive pleasure buzz. You know, so it might be a drug hit, for example. Now, if truth is that we're on minus 500%, how much of that pleasure do we need to cancel out the minus 500%? Well, we need to go past the zero, and we'll probably need to go past the 500 plus %, don't we? We've got to do an extreme grab in order to negate the feeling of the minus 500%. We've got to go to that extreme. So we'll do that, maybe have a fantastic time for a certain period of time. But is that representative of truth, of our energy body? No, it isn't. Because our energy that we've unresolved, our unresolved truth, is at minus 500%. So what's going to have to happen? We're going to have to come down with a very big bump, because we have to align to truth. Eventually, we have to align back to truth. So we're going to have to come all the way back down to minus 500% at least, if not further. And that will then equal truth. So the grabbing of the pleasure is to combat the pain. And then we've got the roller coaster in situ. We've created our own roller coaster. Here we go again. Here we go again. It'll be really good for a few months. And here we go again. And here we go again. And here we go again. If we've got that pain, we're going to have to grab something that cancels out. Probably we're human. We can't bear to feel the pain. Pain hurts, you know. Pain hurts. And so perhaps we'll get with people that lead us astray, make it easier for us to go and grab that pleasure, you know. But the point being, if we grab the pleasure, we have to go back to truth. Law of attraction can only give us truth. We have to go back there. So that's how we create the up and the down, the up and the down, the up and the down. The solution is to resolve that wound, to go in deep, really find out what's hiding, deluding us, hiding there. We have to go back to the pain and face the emotion of how we thought about ourselves, about how we responded to that pain. It's generally the answer for us is generally not in the pain itself, but in how we felt about ourselves. Did we feel total shame, total hatred for how we dealt with it? Once we start to communicate with our child, why did you do that? Oh yeah, of course, because we start to understand, uncover all the feeling, and we start to hold hands with the child, our own child. And we understand why they did that, and it was all right. It was all right why they did that, why we did that as a child. You know, we didn't have any other options as a child, kind of thing. These are the kind of ways to resolve these kind of wounds. Now, if we do not resolve this 500% pain, we will keep on going up and down and up and down. And it doesn't matter how much willpower we have. Some of us, you know, the stronger the masculine side of us in particular, the masculine side tends to operate on the rational and the self-discipline level. They tend to be able to hold the whip hand, you know. So if you're very strong in your masculine side, as a male or a female human, if you're very strong in your masculine side, you know, you may find that your willpower can hold this off from happening for longer than other people. But it's a weak point that unless it's resolved, it will continue to play and really continue to ruin our lives really with it. We feel so much shame and self-hatred when we go into these patterns as well. Of course we do, because that's the true feeling. The minus 500% is the self-hatred and the self-hatred and the unlove and the shame. So we have to come back to those feelings. So we recreate them. Just because we've gone up, it doesn't mean we ain't going to come down with that massive crash of self-hate again. Because we're recreating the truth of how we actually feel about ourselves and that unresolved wound. And of course, in our energy body, all these wounds are like puncture holes. You know, we need a damn good puncture repair kit. You know, we've got all these leaks in our energy. It's all about our energy levels. And of course, we've also got, if we do these patterns as well, it also consumes massive amounts of energy in these ups and downs and ups and downs. So we're exhausted after these roller coasters. And it can take us a month, weeks, a month, days to get back on track again. You know, because we've succumbed again, and how much we will hate ourselves for doing that again. We can't do anything any differently unless we resolve these wounds, the deep wound. We cannot do it any differently. Doesn't matter if it's years, you might have, you know, not drunk for years and then you're back drinking, you drink again, and that's it. The trigger, there might be a trigger. If you've got the minus 100%, minus 500%, you'll always be at risk from those triggers. Anything that triggers that awful minus 500% rejection, there's always a risk of that being triggered. You know, you're not free from it, really. You're always watching out for, you know, the danger of the drink, the fear of the thing itself. That's not the thing. That's not the issue. The drink or the drugs it's not that. It's this minus 500% inside us. That is our issue. That is what we must face. And yeah, sometimes our childhood is an absolute horror story. I know myself, mine was an absolute horror story. Not so my siblings though. you know. Two people can have, talked about a separate reality, two people can have a completely different separate reality. I can't convince somebody else who had a nice reality in it, that it was a horror story. Theirs probably wasn't. Mine was, But we make ourselves into these emotional wrecks, really, if we've not resolved these emotional wreckages really in ourselves. And it's no use thinking that it's an outside thing. Ooh, you've got to be really careful about the alcohol. It's not about the things, it's not about the outside. It's absolutely 100% about the inside. And it's about the leak. And of course there's no interest for those darker spirits that were talked about in the dark spirit videos. They have a vested interest in us going dark and down and leaking. They're the fungi. They're the energetic ether fungi that feed off our wasted energy. And they will jump on that ride. They get a feed. Who wouldn't? That's their energy beasties, whatever they are. They're energy beasties, but I see them and hear them, and they speak of them as well. And they jump onto. So in a sense, we're not just battling our own addiction. We're also battling those darker beings in the ether that are very happy to jump on our leaks like leeches. We've got this lovely vase. We've got lots of cracks and holes in it. It's like we've got these dark leeches on us. So we keep these holes, and you get one leech jumping on, another. Because what we're doing is we're leaking our diamonds, our energy diamonds, just because we just think the right way to cope, the brain tells us to. The right way to cope is to avoid the situation, avoid the pain, give you pleasure. No. The right way to deal with the situation is go deep, walk towards it, feel it, face it, talk to the pain. We have to go there. We have to go to the horrors. We have to. Nothing will ever change if we don't. Nothing will change. And if we want to keep on losing these energy levels all the time, and as you get older, it gets harder and harder to keep those energy levels coming up. We're just dropping. And it's all falling out of these wounds that we've got, these unresolved wounds, these leaks, these dents, these cracks. And there'll always be something darker feeding off it. And of course, they don't want these things to be spoken about. The darker beings don't want these things to be spoken about. They don't want to lose their feed, their energy feed. So not only are we battling our own problems and our own addictions, we're battling those that really make it even harder for us to get our energy back. It's like, say when you're trying to swim and you're trying to swim, and then all these friends, so-called friends, come and jump on you, and you're trying to get to the other side, and they're just jumping on you, and they're not helping you. They're actually dragging you down further. And yes, we have to take responsibility for our own actions and what we do, but there are other dark elements out there, just like the fungi in the woods, that feed off our energy. If we're not prepared to hold on to it, others will come, darker vibrations will come, and they will take it from us. But we are giving it freely first. If we are not mending our wounds, we are giving it. We might as well just put a nipple on our wounds, on our spiritual body, our soul wounds. Put nipples on it, because you can be sure that there'll be something feeding from it, sucking away. That's so. Of course, our battles can become very intense and very hard, because our battles to regain our energy, it's not an easy thing to do. because of course there are so many forces that really don't want us to move up with that energy. So in a sense, it's always like an internal battle. It takes great courage. It really does. It takes great determination, great courage. But it's our energy. It belongs to us. It doesn't belong to anyone else. It belongs to us. It's our duty to love our energy, whatever our vibrational shape, or, to try and fit it into a human box is to shove a human box down onto an energy and kind of knock the arms off. Oh, whoops. Oh, well, your fingers didn't fit into the box, so when I put the box down, the box did chop down on your fingers and knock your fingers off. Oh, level's gone down, energy level's gone down. You lost your energy, you lost your little energy fingers. Our body is like a mirror for our soul body. It's not a perfect mirror, but it's a mirror. It's a kind of parallel, a kind of comparison. The fingers thing is kind of like a comparison. Energy fingers lost, as in physical fingers lost.